This is Cedric with the Wall Street Journal Insight questionnaire.
Yes.
Is this the SupraVantage?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Just want to tell you, first of all, thank you for taking the time to answer the questions that we had and some of my members had over at Wall Street Insight. It's a pleasure meeting with the developer of the SupraVantage. I'd just like to say thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Can you give me a little 30-second overview or introduce to me and my members a little bit about the SupraVantage? Can you tell me a little bit about your platform and how you're set up in your service?
Well, the SupraVantage is a statistical methodology that we've developed over the last 6 or 7 years or so that we employ in our practice. We are making it available to financial professionals in various capacities. It's basically a performance-enhancing tool for those that are having a little trouble in the market and struggling. We offer aid and assistance that would be invaluable. And for those that are performing well, and I understand many of them are, the methods that we offer are very cost-effective and highly efficient, so that it offers them the opportunity to go out and raise more capital and not spend so much time struggling to do research looking for new investment ideas. So we're here to help the folks that really need to perform.
Well, the question I have for you here in the beginning is, what makes you think the SupraVantage is going to provide benefits that are worthwhile to some of the prospective financial professionals that are members of Wall Street Insight?
Well, the main reason is I use the system myself as a cornerstone in my practice. And before, I came into the industry in 1991. I've been in this game for quite a while. I've actually traded stock as far back as 1988. And what I'm saying is this. I did pretty good, but it was a struggle. It was very difficult. Now that I have the SupraVantage, it's a lot easier to perform. It's a lot less stressful. My numbers are far past that of anyone that I know and anything that I've ever could imagine being able to rack up in the market. So when I ask myself, the same person that is not using it is the person just like I used to be, and I know there will be many, many, many ways this can help those that are out there. So when you're talking about the time, the resource versus the reward, the trade-off is exceptionally in the favor of the professional that uses this in their practice.
With that being said, what sort of financial professionals is the SupraVantage prepared to support?
Well, Series 7 representatives, Series 65 representatives, hedge funds, pension plan administrators, money managers, pretty much the whole spectrum of the financial industry that centers on the areas of money management and equity trading. We have a program or a arrangement already in place to suit just about anyone's comfort level in the industry.
Can you elaborate on those arrangements that you have structured? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, we have in-house arrangements where money can actually be managed by the firm under proprietary circumstances. Or someone at the firm where they're located, they don't wish to have the money moved. We have correspondent management arrangements. We have subscription arrangements where we can actually let their customers directly participate, or a master subscription where we give the information to the firm and they disseminate it to the customers they feel it's appropriate to receive it at any particular time. Fund-to-fund management or direct management in our hedge fund So whether they want the money to move or they want the money to actually be directly managed, there are many different combinations depending on how an institution is set up and what their comfort level is. We try to offer something that will give them the ability to participate in our technology. So we're so just about any in-house or corresponding arrangement we're able to handle.
The infrastructure. Do you have what type of infrastructure? Let me ask it this way: what type of infrastructure do you have to accommodate the needs of many types of market professionals that may be listening?
Well, we have a full complement of custodians, transfer agents, and administrators that are highly recognized in the industry, seasoned. To be honest with you, Cedric, most of the folks that are probably listening to this interview, chances are they are tied into organizations that may be a little smaller, if not equal to, but we have aligned. I've made it a point to align ourselves with organizations that would be very acceptable to even the most seasoned financial professionals. So we have a very strong back office, we have a very strong infrastructure, and we have a very, very, very seasoned group of folks running our organizations. So with that said, I think a lot of comfort will be taken in knowing that when someone does participate in what we have in one form or another, that they're in a place where things will be handled in a proper fashion.
Okay, well that you have been very informative. Now let's cut through the chase, like most individuals would say, especially the financial professionals that are listening. Let's talk about the pros and the cons of the SupraVantage. Let's talk about what you consider the pros and cons to be.
Well, some of the strengths. First and foremost is the speed in which very timely, quality alerts are generated. The runtime between the amount of data that can be consumed and delivered to our users and our traders, second to none. The speed is incredible. And when you couple that speed in conjunction with the accuracy, we're accurate. 8 out of 10 times our predictions are accurate.
Wait a minute. 8 out of 10 is 80%. Yeah,
right.
I don't want to sound arrogant, but that's 80%.
I know. That's why I'm on this call. That's why we created the SupraVantage, and we have a trademark, and we made a real big deal about this thing, because to be able to do that on a consistent basis, which we have been able to do, is way over the top. So accuracy is a strength, and it's sustained. And I'm not saying, what I mean by sustainability, Cedric, another strength, in other words, we do get colds. We do, have our moments. And I'll discuss that in the weaknesses, but those moments come so few and far between, and they're so brief in their duration, and our hot streaks are so long and deep when we do get hot. It's incredible. And the cost, it's very, very cost effective. Even the heavily staffed firms couldn't actually cover the ground that we're able to cover the ground in the SupraVantage. They wouldn't be able to spend enough money 5 times over, and they would still probably be behind us in ability to perform. All the analysts, all the connections, all the data feeds, all the everything they would need to actually match what we do. I don't see how it's possible, frankly speaking. But then on the other end, let's talk about the bad. We have to periodically recalibrate the machine, meaning that this market is always a dynamic personality, and we have to always kind of tune it up, kind of like a car, so to speak, to get it back in alignment with the market and how the market is running, so the predictions can stay accurate. And those things, we recalibrate now on an ongoing basis, but after the flash crash, that exposed a couple of our weaknesses. So this recalibration is a real big deal. Direction. is the third breakdown, or the third check down in our steps: isolation, timing, direction, and distance. Direction is a little bit of a weakness for us, and if we ever get direction wrong, that's when we really have a bad trade. It very rarely happens that we just blow direction all outright, and many times we can kind of keep our losses contained, but that's where we get hurt, when we blow direction. Macroeconomic events always can, exaggerate and distort whatever we're trying to do at any time. If we're in the middle of something and there's a war, there's a tsunami, there's some major upheaval, it will rock the apple cart, so to speak, and that will always be the case. And then the last thing that comes to mind, which isn't really a big weakness, but it's something we still have to deal with, is the database, the symbol database. Stocks are all, companies emerging, acquiring, being listed, being delisted, things of that sort. So the symbols have to be accurately programmed. And when, for example, when Sprint and Nextel merged, that means the NXTL symbol got deleted, and I think there was another symbol that Sprint had that got deleted, but now there's S only that was formerly two other companies. Things like that, we are always playing catch-up because the market's somebody's always going public and this or that, so we're always trying to keep up with the database. So it's a little bit of incompleteness there, simply because we're trying to always keep up, but we do a pretty good job in that area. So those are pretty much the strengths and kind of like the weaknesses. And the other real strength, the biggest strengths are the returns. I forgot to mention that. Our returns beat everybody hands down over and over and over and over again. I know it sounds like, wow, it's like a big statement, but it's true. I mean, now at this point, I'm doing an interview, putting it out there for all these my contemporaries to take their shots back at me. So it's it. That's it. I mean, the returns are off the chart.
Well, I'm going to have to stop you right there, and I want to kind of stick a pin in your side, because at the end of the day, we support organizations that deal with full disclosure, full transparency. Here at Wall Street Insight, we're concerned. We're concerned consumers. Where do the regulators stand on the SupraVantage? I've seen some of the data you sent over to me that the SupraVantage has been generating. Most would think there has to be some type of hanky-panky involved.
Well, I would too, to be honest with you, Cedric. If I didn't know better, I would think that there had to be something, but there isn't. Just so you know, the regulators paid us a visit. We have a firm, so we have to be open to examination by the regulators. Just to give you a little history of how we've interacted with them so far, they've actually come to the lab. They've seen the box itself. They've actually watched it run. They know there is such a box, and it is an apparatus that we do have and use. The Friday that they were there watching the run, one stock in particular that's on the website, the informational website, as a example of the data, and that website is SupraVantage.net, SupraVantage.net.
Can you repeat that one for the listeners?
That's SupraVantage.net, SupraVantage.net. And one example on that site is very significant. Human Genome, it was a Friday, it was a July, a couple of years ago. They were in the lab, and we were doing that run as a demonstration for the regulators. Human Genome came out isolated at $3 and some change. It was a Friday. That Monday, the stock opened up, Human Genome, at $10 and some change, and ran up to like $12. And I think that day after, if I'm not mistaken, I think that stock kind of peaked out at about $14. Now, that was nothing less than incredible. So now, with them seeing that, I mean, for them to not think that we're going to become better and we're going to refine, that's as about incredible of a call as you can make, and we did that right in front of the regulators. And then to top that off, not only did they see that kind of firepower in the machine, they asked us to do a live demonstration on how well we handle the data. Are we really what we say we are? So we began sending them live output 15 winning recommendations and only one losing recommendation on their scorecard. And it only went that long because they said they didn't need to see anymore. We were ready to go as long as we needed to go. Now, that's it as far as the regulators are concerned. Now, we still have to stay in compliance because we have financial organizations and we're professionals. But the regulators, nor anyone under the sound of our voice, and especially not anyone that has actually watched the SupraVantage for any prolonged period of time, is in any position to dispute what we say we can do with it. So the regulators, they stand in a pretty good position now. They've been well informed as to what we can do with the machine.
Now, when you mention the term regulators, elaborate.
I beg your pardon?
I say when you mention the term regulators, could you elaborate on what they asked you to do? What did they make you do? What questions?
Well, they asked to see the machine, which I showed them, and they asked to see it run, which I showed them that. Then they further asked to watch me perform using the machine, and I did that as well. And I performed as long as they wanted me to perform. And I told them in all certain terms that anytime they needed to see some more, they could. I told them that I understand that, that's their job, but that's just what we do, and we're prepared to show them or anyone that we're up to task.
Okay. No one can ask for anything more than that. No one can ask for anything more than that. Well, it's clear you're holding a very strong hand over there at the SupraVantage. So I have to ask. The people that are listening to this interview are your competitors in a way. Why are you offering them your help?
Well, it would seem like it would be the right thing to do right now since there is such a disparity between what we have and what they have. I've been on Wall Street, got my Series 7 back in 1991. I'm well aware of the capabilities of the players in the field, and I know those that are really performing well, they have to work really, 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 really hard. We don't work hard. We had an exhibition 30 where they did we did an exhibition for a closed group of folks, and it was nothing less than really a vacation engagement, Cedric. We weren't doing any real heavy work at all. And according to them, and I got to look back at the numbers, we annualized out at about 61%. And that's on a vacation. And I can tell you in no uncertain terms, I could have easily done twice that, easily, without any problems. But I didn't want to overdo it. I wanted to make sure I control the results and just give them a good exhibition. Now, with that said, I can afford to be nice at this point, and I will for a prolonged period of time. However, with something that's very significant that's going to come up, and it's very important, and this is one of the most important things in this interview that these financial professionals listening under the sound of my voice understand, that we're a firm and we're going to be periodically evaluated, and those regulators are probably going to come back and they're going to need another demonstration. The last time I did that demonstration, it was in closed doors, like hush-hush. The next time, I don't have to do it that way. The next time, I'm going to make sure we get all kinds of media hype and this and that. After it's over, we won't do anything while it's happening because we don't want to teeter-totter with the events. But the second gun fight will be out in such a way to give publicity and give kudos to my organization. And a lot of their customers are going to now see that. And they would have blown the opportunity now to align themselves properly, or at least at the very least, to do a lot of homework to know where they need to stand. But no, they're probably going to say, this is a joke, this is this is that, and that's going to be their mistake. So they need to take pay close attention to what I'm saying. When they come back, and they probably will, the world will watch that next exhibition. And I'm not going to stop at 15. I'm going to run it until I get the crown. So everybody knows, wow, they give Madoff and all these other Ponzi guys all their kudos for being bad guys, but I'm going to get just as much kudos for being a good guy. So with all due respect to my contemporaries, They need to find out what's going on. So right now, there's a chance that we don't have to compete. There's a chance we can be friends, and they can have a great practice, and they can, reap the spoils of the alerts that are being generated by the SupraVantage. Or they can make the mistake and not do anything. They can make the mistake and not do any homework. They can make the big mistake and think this is a joke. And then things are going to go their way, and it's going to go their way bad. So this help I'm giving them, this is just because I can, and it's just the right thing to do for now. There may come a time that I won't be so helpful. I want everybody to really understand that. There may be a time that I may not be so helpful. So I encourage them. Please, I'm a very approachable guy. I know I'm barking a little bit now because I'm very passionate, but they got to do their homework. So, they're my competitors, but can they really compete with me? That's the thing. They can't. They don't have an answer for this. So I don't really have any competition. And frankly, Cedric, any CRD registered guy that's anywhere in my reach, with all due respect, whatever he's making is money I'm letting him make, because with the firepower we have, I can't see how any client would stay with some other guy who's struggling and not come over with us. I just can't. I would never even begin to fathom how that's possible. I suggest they go to the SupraVantage.net and look real close at what we're doing. I would really strongly suggest that. So that's something they need to really think about.
Well, it sounds like you're very, very passionate about it. I can hear it in your voice. I can really feel that, and which that was the main reason I asked if I could have this interview. And once again, I can't do anything but thank you in advance for the time spent today and the time that I look to question you about the SupraVantage in the future. Can you give the listeners any parting advice at this time?
Well, a few things, briefly. They need to find the truth. The truth about the SupraVantage, they need to do homework. Don't discount this. Don't just be a person of science, and really look close and hard. And make sure they understand whatever they believe about the SupraVantage will probably decide their fate in the industry. Because if they think we're a joke and the guy across the hall has it and is using it, they're done. Or the guy across the cubicle. Or better yet, if I decide to come after them, they're done. It's over. Because their clients are going to look at them and look at us, and there won't be any comparison, and it's over. So they need to find the truth. Just do a lot of homework. And they have to make a choice. Once they find the truth, they have to make a choice. They got to decide if they're going to take this upstairs to the folks at their organization and try to persuade them to participate one way or the other. If they can't, they need to think about leaving and going somewhere where they are of that persuasion to do some things and to be progressive. Or they maybe need to branch out on their own and forge their own organization and align themselves with us. Or they may need to just come work for us. Or they may need to just think about getting out of the business. Or they can come up with an answer. And you can see the kind of firepower we're packing. So if you want to come up with what you call an answer, it better be a good one. That's all I can say. And at that end, they have to understand that the customer has always been in that position. Whatever they believed decided their fate. They believed in the wrong guy, and they got burnt. So now whatever these folks believe about what I'm saying, if they're wrong, they're done. That's how this is going to have to go down. They must know the truth. If they discount this or think it's just something ain't going to happen, that's a mistake. So that's my parting advice.
Well, I'd like to say thank you. I'd just like to ask my panel here, does anyone have any more questions? Okay, we are all out of questions at this time. I do once again want to thank you, and you have a great day, and I look forward to speaking with your organization over at the SupraVantage here in the future.
Thank you, Cedric. Thank you so much.